If you like what I do, consider joining my channel or donating to my coffee. Links in the description. Many elements make up a great Metroidvania. Platforming, exploration, an interconnected map. But for some, combat is king. If that's you, you've clicked on the right video. Because today, I'm counting down the top 10 Metroidvanias with the best combat. But what makes great combat? It's more than just difficulty in boss fights. I judged each game on 6 key factors. Boss design. Are fights intense, creative, and rewarding? Combat variety. How many viable playstyles and customizations exist? Responsiveness. Are the controls tight and fluid? Enemy design and AI. Do enemies challenge and adapt? Combat progression. Does combat evolve with new moves, upgrades, or mechanics? And finally, hit feedback and weight. Does every attack feel satisfying? With so many Metroidvanias out there, picking the best was no easy task. But lucky for you, I've already did all the hard work. Hey, I'm the Metroidvania Guru, and this is the top 10 Metroidvanias with the best combat.
Number 10.
Blade Chimera's combat comes in hot, with an arcadey feel full of flash. But there's more than just style here. Weighty hits, screen shakes, and crisp sword slashes make every attack feel satisfying. Shin's demonic partner, the green glowing sword Lux, is the real MVP. She stabs, she slices, and she rips through enemies when summoned. She also doubles as a one-way shield for Shin's bullets and clears the screen when she decides to unleash her magic. The larger-than-life bosses are a definite highlight, with important bosses switching things up mid-fight, shifting from towering behemoths to agile, human-sized threats that force players to adjust their strategy. Though it's true the game's a little on the easier side, you can't deny how fun Blade Chimera makes dispatching demons look. It's definitely one of the better dystopian options out there. Well, in the top 3 at least.
Number 9.
Valda's story, Abyssal City, makes slaying demons a work of art. But Wyatt isn't just up against demons. Ferals and angels want a piece of him too, which is fine, because the more supernatural enemies to wreck, the better. Wyatt is more than ready for the challenge. He can equip multiple weapons, each with distinct playstyles, unleash devastating magic, dodge cancel, and juggle enemies so well, even Dante would be impressed. And if that's not enough, he can call in his crew to dish out extra damage to really lay the beat down. And it's not just Wyatt doing the monster mutilation. Players can control 3 other crew members, each with their own weapons and skill trees, giving dozens of ways to tear through the battlefield. And dozens of reasons to keep coming back to this Metroidvania classic. And for those waiting on more Valda's story, head over to Steam and check out Endless Fluff's latest game in early access, because the fight against the goddesses isn't over yet. Let's f***ing go!
Number 8.
There is a war coming. So that's where we come in. Exactly.
Echo probably needs no introduction. He's one of the most recognizable faces on this list, thanks to some little game called League of Legends. I think he was on the TV show as well? I don't know. Anyway, because of his League of Legends status, that's why we get that cringe subtitle tacked on to this game's title, Convergence, a League of Legends story. But you know what's not cringe? This game's combat. Echo controls like a dream, and his powers are some of the coolest to ever grace a Metroidvania. His Time Winder lets him strike enemies multiple times from a distance. His Phase Dash has him zipping around the battlefield while trashing opponents. And then there's his real game changer, his ability to manipulate time. As Echo, you'll constantly find yourself in impossible situations. But thanks to his time manipulation, Echo doesn't have to sweat it. He just rewinds to before that bullet even hit him. It's a blast to use, especially against the game's many creative and dynamic bosses. Just try not to get too mixed up by his afterimage constantly following you. I can't tell you how many times I screwed up a rewind because of this little asshole.
Number 7.
Okay, maybe it's cheating to put 2 games in one spot, but Tevi and Rabby Ribby are so similar that it wouldn't feel right to tell you to pick just one over the other. And honestly, both are absolutely worth playing. Each game features a robust badge system that can radically change gameplay, large maps packed with enemies, and, most importantly, some of the craziest boss fights in the genre. With boss battles commonly described as bullet hells, these games are not shy about filling the screen with absolute chaos. You'll be dodging through absurdly tight gaps, weaving through neon death while trying to land hits of your own. It's a delicate dance of navigating certain doom just long enough to strike back. And it's insanely fun. But seriously, play at your own risk, because if a boss sees open space on the screen, you better believe they're filling it.
It's free real estate. Number 6.
Fist is ridiculous to me. It stars a hard-boiled anthropomorphic bunny with a giant mechanical arm, leading a resistance against a totalitarian regime in a cyberpunk city. Everything about it screams parody, but no, Fist takes itself as serious as a heart attack, which somehow makes it even goofier. Thankfully, it takes its combat just as seriously. Ray's massive mechanical arm isn't just for show. It transforms into a whip and a drill, giving him a deep, combo-heavy moveset with specialized attacks for juggling enemies and chasing them into the air. He can even switch weapons mid-combo, prolonging the pain like this is a full-on fighting game. And it's not just his melee skills. He's got shock batons and other tools to make sure nobody forgets that this bunny means business. Ugh, even saying that out loud sounds goofy.
Number 5.
Of all the games on this list, Nine Souls is probably the hardest. You could argue that Rabby Ribby's DLC pulls some ludicrous bullshit, but holistically, Nine Souls delivers the most consistently brutal challenge in combat. How? Parrying, baby! If you live for parry-based combat, then hold on to your butts, boys, because Yi is about to make every enemy and boss in his game look like absolute chumps. There's nothing quite like shutting down your opponent's every move, making their deadliest attacks feel utterly useless. Of course, to truly dominate your foes, you'll need timing, precision, and a whole lot of skill. But once combat clicks with a specific boss, you'll enter a flow state, and it's pure magic. There's something paradoxical yet deeply satisfying about Nine Souls combat. Like, should I feel this relaxed while absolutely obliterating someone? They all deserve it.
Number 4.
Alright, let's see. Satisfying swordplay? Check. Parrying and dodging? Check. Fun ranged options to apply pressure? Check. Time-based abilities that take combat to another level? Checkmate. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown takes everything great about 2D melee combat and fuses it with some of the smoothest animations and movement in the genre. The second you pick up the controller, run, jump, and slice through enemies as Sargon, your brain will instinctively be like, oh yeah, this feels nice. And when you nail a parry that triggers one of those cinematic counters, oh baby, now that's how you turn the tables on a boss. Pop's combat looks good, feels good, and offers a ton of options, which makes it even more infuriating that Ubisoft disbanded the devs. But they must know what they're doing, right? It's not like they've released buggy flop after buggy flop, tanked to their market value, and then had their CEO announce they're just gonna keep doing what they've always done. Nah, that would be stupid. So stupid. So stupid.
Number 3.
Born on the shoulders of 3 mighty statues, the resounding beat of a great heart could be heard emanating from the clouds.
When it comes to combat, Penitente may not be the fastest, the flashiest, or the most technical fighter, but there's one thing he absolutely is: the most brutal. And Blasphemous 2 arms him with a whole arsenal of savagery. Ruego al Alba, a balanced sword perfect for parrying and countering. Veredicto, a giant war sensor that turns bones to dust. Sarmiento y Centella, twin blades for rapid, relentless stabbing. And the latest addition to his armament of divine retribution, thanks to DLC, the legendary Mea Culpa. With so many ways to disembowel and desecrate, it's a blessing in itself that Blasphemous 2 provides a parade of grotesque enemies and punishing bosses to tear through. Add in movement upgrades and altarpieces that enhance combat even further, and Penitente has never been more lethal. He's the very definition of the strong, silent type who lets his blade do all the talking.
Number 2.
Samus Aran is the only entrant on this list who prefers her skirmishes to be long-distance affairs. And that's exactly what makes her so deadly and fun to play. And in Metroid Dread, Samus has never been deadlier. Her movement is snappier than ever, and her upgrades don't just unlock new areas, they're game changers in combat. Take the Flash Shift, which isn't just a traversal tool, it's a perfect dodge and positioning tool that lets Samus stay one step ahead of her foes. Then there's her ever-growing arsenal. Unlike other games where you swap between weapons, Samus stacks every single upgrade into her arm cannon, letting her fire everything she's got without missing a beat. And while she's loaded with enough missiles and bombs to flatten a small country, she's just as dangerous up close. Her melee counter is a chef's kiss of satisfaction. Perfectly timed, brutally effective, and especially devastating against bosses. Samus Aran is gaming's original femme fatale, and every time she steps into action, it's a sight to behold. Just don't behold her in Other M.
Number 1.
If you didn't see Hollow Knight as number 1, then you probably haven't played Hollow Knight. At first glance, its combat seems too simple. No flashy combos, no massive arsenal of weapons. Just a single nail and a soul meter that fuels healing and a handful of spells. Even the charm system, which allows for playstyle customization, was revolutionary in 2017, but has since become a genre staple. So, how does a game with such minimalistic combat still reign supreme? One word: precision. Hollow Knight's controls are airtight, making every slash, jump, and spell feel perfect. And that precision is tested in some of the best designed, most intense boss fights in any Metroidvania. But here's the key: the game is never unfair. It gives you everything you need to succeed. It's up to you to execute. And when you do execute, when you finally fell that towering nightmare that's been wrecking you for hours, the rush is unmatched. It's that feeling, the pure, earned victory, that makes Hollow Knight the best Metroidvania combat experience to this day. What'd you think of my list? Which Metroidvania do you think has the best combat? Drop a comment and let's talk. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Metroidvania content. Thanks for watching. Later, nerds.